What's up guys, Rising Am Disc Golf here, and today we are going to be doing my late 2019 in the bay. Let's go. So guys, like I said, this is going to be my fall, late 2019 in the bag. Still on Team Trilogy, got all the great Trilogy gear. So let's just get right into it. Starting off, we've got a change already. I still putt with deputies, but this time instead of putting with prime, I've got two classic blend deputies. I find that with the blend, I can get a little better grip with them and get more of a consistent release and know that they'll stick to those chains nice and good. So I've got two gray owl stamped classic blend deputies. Now my main approach disc is this classic blend suspect. I use this for a lot of forehand approaches that I want to be reliably stable and stick to the ground. This classic blend suspect is almost concave, which feels really good for my sidearm, but it also feels good for backhand, and I know it's going to stick to the ground when I throw it. I also have a fusion suspect that is more flat topped, not concave. This I use for more off the tee shots with the suspect, and I use this a lot for backhand, but I also will use it for forehand. Next up, I have the classic soft slammer. Last time I did my in the bag, I said I wanted to try a blend one, but this soft one has grown on me a lot. I did try a blend one, I just didn't like it as much. I like how this soft one sticks right to the ground. It's reliably overstable and will stick wherever it lands. So this is a good complement to the suspect, where the suspect will go straight and then fade. This one will fade sooner than the suspect will. So yeah, check out a soft slammer. Next throwing putter, I've got a Opto Pure and a Opto X Chameleon 10th anniversary Pure. Go check out the 10th anniversary Pure only round I did up above. That was pretty cool. So this Opto Pure, it goes super straight at lower speeds, but it'll maybe fade even with lower speeds. But when I throw it hard, I'll get a nice turn out of it, but it won't roll over. It'll just turn nice and then finish straight. But with the Chameleon Pure, it's a little more stable, so I'll get a little more finish. And if I do like a little hyzer flip, I need just a little less hyzer, so it's just a little more stable. My last mold of throwing putter is the BT Medium Maiden. Now I have two, one basically new and then one that is very beat in. This is such a good turnover disc, this really beat in one. I love the feel of them, and this thing will turn a little bit like the Pure, but the Pure will have a little more fade. Even at lower speeds, this will just go straight. And then the brand new one just goes super straight when I throw it really hard, or will have a little fade when I don't throw it very hard. I just ordered a VIP Maiden, so that will also probably be making its way in the bag. I don't know what it'll push out, but that was a very limited release, so I'm super excited I got part of that. That will obviously probably be a little more stable and not beat in quite as fast as these baseline Maiden. Moving on to mid-ranges, I carry 6 mid-ranges, 5 molds. Starting off with the least stable, I've got an Opto Chameleon Fuse. You can check out the review up there. I use this for my straight to turnover shots or low speed hyzer flips. Really great in the woods. Next, I've got 2 EMAC Truths, one Lucid and one Lucid Moonshine. The Lucid one they're both max weight, but this one's a little bit beat in, so it'll go straight, maybe even turn a little bit, but mostly just super straight and tons of glide, just like an EMAC Truth should do. And the Lucid Moonshine one is straight to stable. It's got that Ralph Dymax on it that I got at Junior Worlds from Eric McCabe himself, and it's got some really cool swirls around it. This is one of my most favorite discs, and it goes super straight with a bit of fade. And this one's pretty flat. I love my mid-ranges flat. Next, we've got a Lucid Verdict that's pretty opaque. It's a misprint, and this thing is board flat. This thing feels so good. It's a little grippier than normal Lucid plastic, and it goes straight with that reliable fade. I've been really leaning on the Verdict a lot, and it feels good for sidearm and backhand, and this opaque flat Lucid run is so money. And lastly, a pretty new addition to my bag is the special edition Westside Discs Anvil. I use this a lot for like scramble sidearm shots or backhand shots off the tee that need a lot of fade, that kind of thing. This thing is very flat, the special edition is, I heard, versus the stock release, which has a bit of dome. And since I like my mid-ranges flat, I happened to find a special edition one that I picked up, and I've been loving it. So if you think the beat on the Justice is just a little too big, or you want a overstable mid-range that is just a little more usable than the Justice, this thing is still very overstable, holds up in a headwind beautifully, but I find it can be used in more cases than a Justice. So that's the Westside Discs Anvil. Moving on to fairways, we'll start with the Dynamic Discs Maverick. Got a hybrid one from the Monkey Island Open that I got from Anthony over from DD. Huge shout out to him, awesome guy. This thing is very understable, so hyzer, it'll pop up and turn a little bit. Flat, it'll turn, can even use it for some rollers. Very reliably understable disc. I like having that in my bag. Then I've got a Zach Melton Lucid X Maverick that with a little hyzer will pop up and just go so straight. Flat, it'll turn a little bit, but it'll fade, so it's way more stable than the hybrid one actually. I find the hybrid to be pretty similar to Lucid Maverick, so the Lucid X Maverick is a Lucid X disc that I think is very different from the normal Lucid run. So if you haven't checked out a Lucid X Maverick, highly recommend it. Next up in the fairway, we've got some Felons. I've got this beat up Felon that with a little hyzer will pop up to flat, or when I throw it flat, it'll turn a little bit and fade. I've noticed that when Felons beat in, they get a lot of turn and a lot of fade, versus some other discs like the Getaway that'll just go straight when it beats in. So I've got this one for my weak sidearm, also good for like straighter but reliable backhand shots. And I've got this newer Sparkle Felon, Lucid Felon, that is basically like a Verdict but a fairway driver. Straight, reliable fade. Really good feel in the hand. Works good for forehands. And if you don't bag a Lucid Felon, I don't know why. They're just so good. Next up, we've got the Getaway. I've got it first in Biofusion plastic. This one's like 167, I think, pretty light. And so right now, if I give it hyzer, it'll pop up and turn and fade. Flat, it'll turn quite a bit. But like a brand new Biofusion Getaway is so money. I think I might try it in a bit of a higher weight, because man, they just go so straight. Next up, I have the Special Edition Getaway. This one's getting pretty beat in, so when I throw it flat and hard, it will just hold a line. It will go straight as a rope for 350 feet. This thing is so reliable. I love how straight it gets when it beats in. So it's basically a fusion Getaway. Super great disc. And then the Lucid X Getaway is my last Getaway, and this one's pretty stable. It's like in between the Felon and the Getaway for me, so it's actually pretty similar to a Felon. It's just a different feel. So if you don't like the feel of the Felon, check out a Lucid X Getaway. I bag it just kind of as a backup, or if I'm liking the feel of the Getaway over the Felon that day, I'll pick this. Comes in and out of the bag. And lastly, we have arrived to our distance drivers. First, we'll start off with the trespasses. I have got a Fusion Burst trespass that I like for hyzer flip to straight distance shots, or straight to turn with a little fade at the end distance shots. This disc is really great for my game, and especially when they're a little newer, they're super straight to stable. So Fusion Trespass, go check them out. Then I've got a very beat-in 169 gram Biofusion Trespass that I use for rollers or super high turnovers. This thing is like a Maverick, but a distance driver. Then I've got a couple Raiders. First of all, I've got this Fusion Raider 169. It's pretty new, so it's still got that stability. I had one that was beat in that I could hyzer flip or get some turn out of. This one, it'll turn, but it'll always fade. So I'm looking to beat this one in for like a pretty turny distance driver with that Raider feel, or not pretty turny, but just the ability to hyzer flip it, because these things go so far. And then a newer Raider is this blue 172 Lucid Raider. This thing feels so good. It just feels so good. When I grip it so confidently and I can throw it so hard, and I know it'll just go straight for so long and have that reliable fade at the end, but go so far. So I use this for distance hyzer shots. And boy, if you haven't tried a Lucid Raider and you think the Fusion ones are a little too flippy, try a Lucid one. These are just so good. For my max distance shots, I have an Opto Ballista Pro. I wrote my name on it because it's so good, and if someone else gets it, I want them to have it with the cost of my name being on it, because it's just so good, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, whatever. I actually have my furthest ever throw with this, 428 feet, not internet distance, measured with U-Disc. So I can throw it on like a super high anhyzer shot, and it'll go anti for a long time. Flex out at the very end. That's how I get that like super big distance. But if I give it hyzer, it'll like ride the hyzer and come to flat and just go super far. Flat, it'll turn a little bit and then fade. So the Ballista Pro, super great distance driver. And my final disc is the Latitude 64 Gold Line Recoil. This recoil is very stable, max weight, and I like it for right now over a Defender just because it's a little shallower. Got the same flight of a Defender, just a different feel, a little slower too. I lost my favorite Biofusion Defender, so if I come across a new one, that might kick this out, but for now, this is my overstable distance driver in the bag. So that's all as far as the discs, but as far as my setup, I've got the Dynamic Discs LG Zuka cart, gray matte with the Dynamic Disc Ranger bag. Inside of it, I've got the seat cushion on top for comfort. Got the putter pouch, awesome Twin Town Throwdown towel, shout out to them. Big growing B tier here in the Twin Cities. I've got my clipboard and pencil from Dynamic. And then I always carry two minis, one of which is the 2019 Player PDGA Mini. I don't know what you get for signing up. And then I have one from the Luck of the Draw that was at Junior Worlds. As a backup, I always carry two in case I lose one. But predominantly, I use the white Member Mini. So that's all for my bag. Sometimes I'll put the umbrella holder on the cart if I need it. Obviously, I've got a cool Westside Discs umbrella that I will use. So thank you guys for checking out the video. If you liked it, go over there and subscribe. Check out some other videos over there. Make sure to follow us over on Instagram if you liked it. Make sure to leave a comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.